Oh, all right, all right. What's going on, party people? This your man Griff. You know what? Let me take this off because right here, to me, I'm seeing too much glare reflection off this reflector stuff. So came home real quick to do a scan and then grab something to eat. And what else? Um, yeah. I think that was it. Just grab something to eat real quick because I got a signing at 1, and I got another house inspection I got to go knock out. And everything before my excuse me, my 1 o'clock. Technically, I can wait till later to do it, but then I got to go to Hampton, Virginia. So I'm dropping my Fritter Friday video now because I'm not gonna have time to sit down and do it later. Because I got at 1 o'clock, and then after the 1 o'clock, do a scan, and then I got to go over to Hampton, Virginia before traffic gets bad. So figure I stop real quick, take time out, kick it with y'all, and give y'all some advice for those who are looking to or may need to, for whatever reason, to go back to your W-2. But first, I want to say thanks to everybody for always showing your love, like, share, comment. I want to hear your thoughts on the topics that I'm referring to. If you have anything, please elaborate, because sometimes people make comments or statements and I don't know what they're talking about. And I don't have a problem responding back, but I don't get sometimes what people are saying. People just say this blanket statement and I don't know what you're talking about. So also, some of you have been reaching out to me, asking for advice. I'm not the one to sit here and type out a dissertation on answering your certain questions, because sometimes there's questions that I need to ask you in order to provide you with the right advice. So if you can, when you contact me, please provide a phone number that I can give you a call. Now, if you don't want to talk to me on the phone, I get it, but sometimes when you're asking for advice on how to do things with your business, I need to know where you're at. Okay, where you're at. What are the different dynamics of your life? Not trying to get deep into it, but just understanding, okay, are you full-time, part-time, you married, you got kids, really what are your goals and stuff. And sometimes that stuff don't come out in emails. And sometimes I like to just talk to people, because then just listening to them, it gives me the ability to really understand where you're coming from. And I like to get down to the nitty gritty of what you're asking. Okay, because sometimes in emails and text messages, it's just, hey, I need help, and I'm stuck on this and this, that, and the other. So what's your advice for me? To me, that's not enough data for me to give you adequate advice. Okay, so I need more information. Now, some people don't want to disclose it. You just want to be told something. That's not how I operate. Okay. I just can't say, hey, go do this and it'll work, because I don't know what your area is, where you live at sometimes. And it's hard for me to tell you, oh, go do these 5 things and you're going to make money. That's hard for me to do. And nobody should be trying to do that for you. All right. So the advice that I have for you, also, and like I said, thanks for liking, sharing, commenting, all of that. Really appreciate y'all. Really do. So the advice that I have for you, as somebody who probably may need to go back to work in a W-2, or just want to, or whatever the case may be, um, you really need to make sure you can get paid properly. And how do you ensure that you're going to get paid properly? Is that you need to know what your dollars are going to be. Just like you wanted to know how much you're going to get paid for those notary orders, you want to know how much you're going to get paid for this job. Okay, so I'm gonna break it down to you, and I'm gonna show you how you can figure all of this stuff out, and all of that good thing. Okay, so let me put this up on the screen, because first you got to understand how the money is calculated. When you understand how the money is calculated, then you can make a determination as to what they're offering you, whether or not it's going to meet your family's financial needs. If you don't know how to calculate it, or what the calculation method is, so you can double check it for yourself, you may be getting paid way less than what you want. And on the surface, on the gross, it looks good. But how do you account for all of those other little things, the taxes, insurance, and 401k, and all of that stuff that they want you to give your money into, which takes down what you're going to be bringing home, your net. All right. So let me show y'all this real quick. So what this here is the standard work week hours. So the standard work week is 2,000. I mean, standard work hours. I see, keep saying work week. Standard work hours. Okay, the standard work hours for a calendar year. That's what I was trying to say. My bad. 2,080. Okay, 2,080 hours is how you come up. Is how they is what it is. So how did they come up with that? The way they come up with that. And let me bring my calculator over for y'all. So the way they came up with that is you got 40, I'm sorry, you got 80 hours times 2 times 52 weeks. Sorry. Oh, gosh. Y'all know I always be messing my numbers up. 40 times 52 weeks. That's what I meant to do. 40 times 52 weeks, you get 2,080. So you work 40 hours a week times 52 weeks is 2,080 hours. Now, granted, somebody, well, what about vacation? That's on you. You take vacation. Okay. You do vacation, then that's on you. Then all you're actually working is the 40 times 50. You see what I'm saying? That's where you're at. Okay. So that's up to you, however much time you take off and everything. So let me close that out. Let me just drop this down. So here's your ledger, or your I forget what this called is. Well, you know what I'm talking about. Here's your keys. HR hourly rate, YS yearly salary. So your hourly rate times 2080 equals your yearly salary. So 40 hours, $40 an hour. Okay, your hourly rate $40 times 2,080 gives you 83,200. If you reverse engineer it, somebody says we're going to pay you 83,200, then you divide that. That's what the slash is here. You divide that by 2,080. Okay, and that gives you $40 an hour. That's how it works out. Okay, very, very simple. If somebody says we're going to pay you $25 an hour, okay, so if somebody comes and says we're going to pay you $25 an hour, so you go $25 times 2,080, that's $52,000 a year. Okay, $52,000 a year. That's what you got. Okay, this is simple. So sometimes what they'll do is they will tell you they're going to pay you a particular dollar amount per pay period. Okay, so that is where it gets a little tricky. Okay, because when you see that full dollar amount, they might say 2,500, 3,125, all of that kind of stuff, and you're like, okay, well, what does that mean to me? I don't know what that means. That's where you have to do your math and figure out, okay, well, this is what it equates to per hour. Okay, so how do you figure out your take-home pay? That's the key. You want to know how to take home what your take-home pay is. So for your take-home pay, that's real simple. What you're going to do is go to this website called paycheckcity.com. Okay, you're going to go to paycheckcity.com. And when you go to paycheckcity.com, you click on calculators. Now, they have all this other stuff on here. I'm not covering any of that. Okay, read it for yourself. You click on calculators, and then they have these various different calculators. They got salary calculator, hourly calculator, and so forth and so on. All we're going to focus on today is salary calculator. Okay, now I haven't even pre-ran any numbers, so I'm just shooting from the hip on this here. All right. So salary calculator, excuse me. The first thing you have to do with the salary calculator is select your state. So I'm not even going to select my state of Virginia. I'm just going to select some random state. I'm just going to select okay, we go Colorado. Since Deion Sanders out there, we'll pick with Colorado. So Colorado, I'm gonna have to make that just, there we go. All right, I'll keep it like that. Trying not to make it too big. All right, so we'll say today is the pay date, okay? And you can select whether your pay is annual or a pay period. So we're gonna go with pay period. Okay. So we just gonna throw numbers in here. All right. We're gonna throw numbers of 31.25. I mentioned that 31.25 a pay period. Okay. Gross pay period to date. You just click on that. It talks about that. But what we're doing here is just pay period. Now, don't worry about this 53 and 27. That's between you. That's the accounting people. Sometimes, depending on when they pay, there's an extra week in there and things of that nature. Okay. But we just gonna go bi-weekly. Okay. Don't worry about the use of 2020 W4. You can talk to them, they'll tell you about that. Are you married? This, that, and the other, single or married, filing separately. Got head of household. Talk to them about all that. I don't know. We'll just go, I have to use my case, married, filing jointly. Do you have 2 jobs? Do you have dependents? All of that. Dependent amount, all of these different things. You got these little here that talks about total amount for any claim dependents, all of that. Okay. And again, you can talk to an accountant, find all that information out. And they have some good information down below that answers those things. Okay. So filing status, married. Okay. So are you exempt from any of this stuff? Social Security for, if you are, you check those boxes. If you're not, you leave them unchecked. It's Colorado. Are you exempt from state taxes? Is it yes or no? Are you adding extra money in to do this? Yeah. For state taxes, so they can take out a little bit more. Either yes or no. You add the dollar amount. Colorado paid family and medical leave. Don't know anything about that, but I'll just leave it in there. Most recent withholding amount. If this is applicable, you put that. All of this. This is somebody who's in Colorado. Okay. So you have all of this stuff here. All right. Then you come down here to the deductions type. You can put the deduction name in here. So let's just say you want to do 401k. You want to call it that. And then and it's a fixed amount. And what is this? The dollar amount? We'll just say $55 a paycheck. Okay. Is this exempt from taxes? Sometimes your 401k money can be pre-tax. So if it's pre-tax, you will just, select that. And then you hit calculate. Once you hit calculate, it tells you all the money that's coming out. Okay. So here's your gross pay. Here's your federal. Here's your social. Here's your Medicaid. Here's your state. That family leave stuff is that $50 and then $55 for 401k. And it's saying your net pay is this here. So let's remember that number, $24.91.51. Okay. So you don't have any of those other things, all of that. Gotcha. Now, let's go back. So let's see what happens when you say it's not, if you're doing retirement without the pre-tax, without it being exempt. And you see here, a little bit less, $24.78. So it's less money that you're getting because that 55 is a part of what was taxed. Okay. There's difference between pre-tax and non-pre-tax. Okay. It's exempt from getting taxed and all of that. So this here will give you exactly what you're bringing in per pay period, whatever that pay period is. It's a simple thing to do. So you use this so you can get an idea of what you should be making from them. So if you want a particular dollar amount, then you need to talk to them about, okay, this is what I want to get paid, but you can't figure that. You don't know that unless you run your numbers, because you say, well, I want this dollar amount. Now you say, well, how do I, so your other deductions, like your medical and all of that. Okay. So let's just say if you wanted, let's go back. So let's say you had another deduction of medical. Okay. Now medical, that can be a little tricky. All right, let me come back to y'all for a quick second. With medical, that can be a little tricky because you have the medical that can include dental and vision, and sometimes it doesn't. So, or it could include medical and dental, or it couldn't. You have to figure that out. You have to talk to them and find out. And what you can simply do is just ask the HR person how much you basically pay in medical, especially if they're married, their marital status is like yours. How much you pay for medical? Oh, I don't pay for medical. Okay, can you find out? Can you give me an idea? Can you give me the brochure or something that just gives me a rough estimate on how much the medical is? Is the medical inclusive of the dental and vision, or is it something separate? You got medical, then you got dental, then you got vision. You find all of that out, and then you plug those numbers in. Okay, so we're just going to say, in this case, medical, excuse me, is a fixed amount, and it's going to include everything. So we'll just say 325. So 325, and majority of the time, medical is exempt from state, from taxes. I can't always remember whether it's local taxes now, but in this case, we'll say it is. Okay. So we'll go back to your 401k. We'll say that is also exempt from all taxes. And again, this here is not financial advice. This is just me sharing an option for y'all. So this is telling you how much you will bring home. This is how much you will bring home after your normal taxes off of your salary, and then your medical and your 401k is not being taxed. That's being deducted ahead of time out, and then what's left over is getting taxed. Okay. This is a very, very simple way to find out what your take-home pay is. So if you're going to go back to your W-2, you don't want to sit there and get paid so much money that you go back to the W-2 and then you're sitting here saying, I need a side hustle. Okay. Because for some of you, you was in your W-2, and let's say if you was making more money and then you said you needed a side hustle then. So let's just say you was making 75,000 and you said, I need a side hustle. And then you do the notary business for a while, and then you say, well, okay, I'm going back to my job. And then you get paid less. Aren't you going to need a side hustle again? You need to know that, okay? You need to know what that comes out to. And if you don't understand what the dollar amounts are, then you can wind up getting yourself into a really, really bad situation. So that's one way. That's for on the annual side. Okay. So I'm gonna go back to, and I'm gonna pick a different state. I'll pick New Jersey this time. So I'm going over to the salary. I mean the hourly. Okay. So I'm gonna pick the state of, I'm gonna go with New Jersey. Okay. So the amount, we'll just say 15.25 an hour, and it'll be for 80 hours. And then, so here's your gross pay and per pay period, and you get paid bi-weekly. All right. We'll just keep all of that, and we won't add anything else in here. Okay. Just basically, this is what you bring it home. 1,084. That's just bare bones. Okay. That's just whatever this is, FLI, all that. I don't know what the heck all that means. That's for New Jersey people. Okay. So this is what you want to know. What is my take home pay going to be? If you don't know what your take home pay is going to be, how can you see what I'm saying? So you're talking about basically a little more than $2,000 a month. that you bring it home, 2,100. So you're talking about $2,100. Does that suffice for you? Does that work? If it does, cool. If it doesn't, you know, so you're talking about $15, 1525 times 2080. You're talking about $31,000 a year. Does that work for you? It's either yay or nay. Okay. It's either yay or nay. It works for you. So I just want to throw this up here real quick, show y'all what you should do, in my opinion. This is not financial advice trying to tell you how to manage your money, or legal advice, but this is just me sharing with you what I use. And I've been using Paycheck City for over a decade. And it has kept me from losing money all over the place. I mean, there was people who tried to lowball me, and those people, it was lowball with dollar amounts. And I'm like, wait a minute, I thought you said it paid this. Well, yeah, it does if you had these other qualifications. Well, you didn't say that. You said it pays this, and that's what I was expecting. And by me knowing the take-home pay, knowing the numbers, I was able to determine whether or not I was even going to sign the contract. They slide you something, and they're like, "Oh, okay, you thinking that you really making money," and then you come to find out, well, your health insurance for family is $500 a paycheck. I can't, and what you're offering me, I can't live off of that. There's no way I can't survive. There's Because as soon as I go take the job, I'm getting a second job or a third job or whatever. So get what I'm saying? So I just wanted to share this with y'all. Sorry if it sounded a little discombobulated. This is just sort of off the cuff. I was out today and I was looking through my emails and messages and stuff and seeing a lot of people saying they're going back and this, that, and the other. Excuse me. And I was like, you know what? I said, let me share something with the people on what they can do to look out for themselves and make sure that whatever's being offered to you in your W-2 is going to help you financially. Because if you're going back to a W-2, why are you doing that? Because you said you need money. You need money because what you're currently doing isn't providing you with the finances that you need. So therefore, if this W-2 is paying you less than what you were doing as a notary or whatever the business you was doing, you still gonna need that side hustle. That's all I can say. All right. Well, y'all have a good one. Talk to y'all later. Peace.